too am live, I think.
You too? Oh, it's two of you.
Yeah, I'm a regular Bono over here.
I don't get that reference, but sure.
Because he's
I'll
from
accept that.
U2.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Or
Hello.
U2 is from him. I'm not sure exactly the lineage there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Hello, chat. Can you hear us? I haven't
Hi.
screwed up my settings again, have I? Which is possible, undoubtedly.
Yay, Cleo.
Oh yeah, new emotes. You can't use like the Bernard or the beans today, chat. So sorry. I should probably set them free so they can talk.
Why can't they use the beans?
Oh, because they're on cards and I turn them off when we're together because I don't think it's fair on you.
Because I literally just put in beans.
Oh no, you can use the bean emote, but you can't use the bean cards.
There's just too much stuff going on. I can't keep up.
That's fine.
I can't keep up.
You don't have to keep up, Joe. It's fine.
Okay, good. Because
it's like this is my channel, and like you can do your own thing. I promise.
Yeah. Okay.
You're allowed. Yeah, you're all free, guys. It's fine. It's fine.
Let me see if I can fix this window capture.
Oh, and Naomi, thank you for the 18-month resub. I appreciate it. So I can't actually show them the other side of things of the budget planner because I've actually been using it for this month when I wasn't going to. So I need to do an October budget thing as well. So yay! But I have money. It's with the Queen's face on.
Oh, so they're getting rid of that now.
I don't know. They've only literally just come out with like the 20s and 50s. So they. I don't think they were expecting to redesign it for a few years, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the guy's like 70, so they better get on it if they want it done within his lifetime.
I mean, you say that, but there are like, I think it's one of the royals in another country, like died 4 years ago, and they've still got his face on the money.
Yeah.
So long as the money doesn't do anything, it's fine.
I mean, we only really put dead people on our money here. So, like, it's not like you're offending my American sensibilities, but still.
I mean, to be fair, we already have, like this is £20, and this is somebody who I don't know. Choo choo. Thank you for the hype train. This is yeah. Oh, Joseph Turner. Joseph Maylord William Turner. I don't know who that is or what he did, but it looks like it's
Joseph Maylord William Turner.
It looks like some paddle steamer kind of guy. That's what it looks like. It looks like he's got like a paddle steamer,
like a steamboat captain.
Well, you say that, but there's also a galley in the background, so. That's Gary. This my chat has decided that this guy is Gary now. Okay. And we've got who's this? Oh, Jane Austen. I know her. She's on the money as well. She's on the tenner. I don't know who's on the other money. But they will keep the Liz money. For the time being, they'll keep the Liz money, I'm sure. So, thank you, Strabo, for the 17-month resub. Paleo, thank you for the biddies. Tartarus has resubscribed for 18 months. And Push has cheered 90 biddies for the bit train. Thank you very much. Thank you for the hype train, guys. It's appreciated. So, I actually have... This is where I check to make sure that I can count money. Jesus Christ.
Is this for your cat food you have to buy?
No, this is for my 1,000 challenge. So,
your money you're setting aside for your savings.
Yeah, so there's 100 quid. I've had a good month. I figure I'd put like 100 aside this week for it.
Well, did you see the invoice just came in for 2 years of hosting this time around?
Yes.
Yeah, I It's like, good news, everybody. I'm just gonna do 2 years of hosting at once.
I'm not sure that he couldn't not do 2 years.
I know, but still, it's like, come on. I'm like, our quarterly taxes in America just went out today, so it's like I just wrote the IRS a check for thousands and thousands of dollars. The emptiest my bank account gets is every 3 or 4 months when the quarterly taxes go out.
Yeah, no, I get
And
that.
then as soon as like today's the day I'm sending out these invoices, I'm like, I hope you're ready to wait till the 1st.
I mean, I'm sure if you spoke to him, he'd be cool with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, what other business do you send an invoice and expect the money back that day? I
Yeah.
mean, so yeah, cool. I actually probably should say, great.
I'm
I'll send this out on the 1st with the rest of my accounts payable.
I'm sure he won't care. It's fine. So I put 100 aside, so I now have 170 in this wallet. Which, surprisingly enough, at least I hope I do. Yeah. Okay. So, chat, I'm being kept honest.
Hey, we got our first tip of the day rolling in from Ellis for 5, who says, hope y'all have a good and fun morning. I hope so too, Ellis. We're going to go ahead and rotate my camera 5 degrees, one for each dollar that just rolled in. You're as the money rolls in, I'm rolling over. I don't know. There's something here.
There's something here, but we don't know.
We'll keep workshopping it as y'all send more money. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. Blocky says you misspelled the title. I don't.
We don't stress Joe about those sorts of things.
I don't know how much I care, honestly. This is like
Joe's already having a moment.
I'm gonna go see what I misspelled. If I misspelled your name, I'm gonna fix it.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I misspelled your name. Okay, that's disrespectful.
Am I Chloe? Is that who I am?
No, you were Zombie Cleo.
Oh, that's. I don't care.
Yeah, well, so I set the title while I was dropping my kid off at school on using the magic of cell phones.
The magic of cell phones. Okay.
Yeah, I can set my stream title while I'm on my way back home. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I now need to do October's budget in here. Oh, I got new things, chat. I say new things. I got multicolored washi tape. Joe makes it sound like
that's like a lot of washi tape.
Hang on, it's got the amount on it. 60.
So did it come in a pack of 60, or did you buy the case and then order 60 individual colors?
No. This is the pack. It's like a whole thing. So, and Bakura, thanks for the cow biddies. I don't think I thanked you, but I appreciate it. In the course of the day-to-day burglaries, I find a bullet journal with cash in the back. Put it back, write a sincere apology, pay for any damages, and hope my end is abrupt. You know what? If you can get it out of the safe, that's fine, because it doesn't stay there the whole time. I'm just doing this for showing you purposes. The cash goes back in the safe. By the way, did you know you can get a cheap safe for like 30 quid?
Really?
Yeah. Like, it's very small, but I'm only putting money in there, so does it matter? And to be honest, it's bolted into one of my cabinets. So, Can you please say hello, Emily, because it's her birthday? Hello, Emily. Happy birthday. There you go.
Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a Emily. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Y muchos más.
You got to unbolt it first, Red. It can be carried, but only if you unbolt it from the cabinet. Or you can take the entire cabinet.
Yeah, what you really want to do with a safe is you want to put it in, like, if you have like a basement or a boiler room or something that has concrete, you want to
bolt it into that,
into the floor of the concrete.
Yeah, but I live in the UK, so the amount of basements are
Mm-hmm.
maybe 1%.
Yeah.
If someone's going to take my cabinet, you know what? Respect. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's reasonable. If somebody's coming to grab all the things out of my trying to, considering this cabinet is like 2 meters long. People go burglarizing without a lump hammer. Shockingly.
Well, when my dad was working in a logistics terminal, like a warehouse outside of New York City, where trucks would unload stuff from like the long 40-foot trailers, and then they would load it into vans and stuff to deliver into the city to like specific businesses. They had like a big old safe in the office, and they didn't keep anything of value in it.
No.
But when people would rob the place, they would go in there and they would waste a ton of time screwing with the safe after tripping the alarm, and they would ignore that there's a pallet of Rolexes just sitting on the warehouse floor.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you could have had a pallet of Rolexes that was going into New York City, and instead you were screwing around with this empty safe.
That's good. I like that. Always interesting conversations on these streams. I think so. I think that this is like, I was going to say it's the Joe Hill's difference. I think that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Mini Cheese Mouse Chibbity's doing their Tesco shop. Enjoy. And thank you. Artisy tipped $25 specifically for savings. Savings are a good thing. Thank you, Artisy. I will add that to whatever I do for next week, because I don't have a 25, so I'm going to have to do a higher one. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I think if you've gone to the trouble to take out the back of my cabinet and the floor of my cabinet, I think fair play to you.
Well, here's the other fun thing you can do, Cleo, is you've gotten into like going to the gym and stuff lately, right?
You say that when I haven't been to the gym in weeks, but yes.
Okay, but you
I'm trying.
So you can also go buy a second safe and literally just buy a bunch of weights and put them both next to each other. And then at that point, it's one of those things like they don't know necessarily which one's the good safe and which one's the bad safe. Maybe it's like, oh, maybe one's cash and one's jewelry, or one's paperwork and one's jewelry. But no, one of them's just full of like weights, just like circular plates or whatever.
Like these.
He just, Oh, are you holding up circular plates? Oh,
I've got weights. I've got my dumbbells.
There you go.
Oh. They're as light as they can be at the moment. Just place a smaller safe inside your safe. How about I just get an air tag and just put that in the safe, so if they steal my safe, I know.
Well, I mean, a lot of safes are kind of Faraday cages.
That's true.
Not good ones. I mean, they're not literally, because you're not putting a current through a mesh, but yeah, they do shield RF.
That's true. But when they open it,
oh, that's true. Yeah.
Then I know where my safe is.
You know what they should be doing, though, is if you're going to open a safe, you should be really opening it in what we like to call a safe room, which is a room that has an actual Faraday cage where you run a current through a mesh.
I don't think most burglars are that savvy, to be honest.
Boy,
Teeny tiny teeny tiny plushy Cleo's in danger. I already regret the Bernard shark emoji, but appreciated. What am I doing? So it's October.
Yeah, I was gonna play with the French curves a little bit today, because I realized I've got 3 French curves, but I really only used the largest of them. I was like, I should mess with these other ones today.
Should get Joe's stream on stream so I can watch his stream while I stream.
Yeah, I stream, you stream, we all stream for ice cream. I mean, I don't eat ice cream because of
digestive issues.
Other than that, though.
Other than that, we would hypothetically scream for ice cream if we were allowed said ice cream. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. Okay. But yeah, one of the problems I've run into is I keep forgetting to use the French curve when I should be using the French curve.
You
So
do. That is
I'm
true.
kind of thinking I should just mess around with the French curve and just do, you know, the way that painters will do like a study of blue stripes with different brushes and get a feel for them. Like
I mean,
I
technically, yes.
yes, I should do a study of French curves or whatever, where I'm just like messing around with these. Like I don't really ever use these internal bits. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to. Am I doing it wrong if I use those? Am I doing it wrong if I don't?
I think you're supposed you. I think you can use them. I don't think there's any reason why not to, because they're a smaller curve than the outside curve.
Yeah. But then I've also got like these. Now then you can even kind of match up parts of these. Yeah. So this part actually matches up here. Woo! So that's kind of actually good to know, though, is which ones are basically like, oh yeah, that's the
Thank
same
you,
artist
Artisty. It's
there.
appreciated. Sorry, Artisty says the blank declined the original, so I have to rerun it. Thank you very much for rerunning it. I do appreciate it. Cleo, oh gosh.
What?
Sorry, they're playing with the emotes now.
Huh?
Because I've got a shark and it's
So they're having the shark attack
things, yeah, and shark dies, and you know those sorts of things. Shark's allergic to beans now. I appreciate that. Ah, dear. Chat, what you like? Joe, what are you like? That's a good question.
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm bad at describing myself.
I mean, I think that's probably safest to say.
Like, I mean, basically, usually the answer is tired. And if somebody tells me tired isn't a personality, I say hold
I
my
would say,
beer.
oh, I disagree.
And then they say, well, that's just alcoholism at that point. Like,
I don't have enough energy to be an alcoholic.
no, yeah, like alcoholics know where their next drink is coming from. I can't plan anything. I'm too tired.
Oh dear. Joe, we appreciate you. Joe is one of a kind. He is. Thank God. I'm not sure I could deal with two. Sorry, Joe. I'm just speaking the truth.
Well, the funny thing is that the people I've met who are most actually like me to like a to the point where like you get into this weird uncanny valley type thing.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are actually people that are not necessarily the place where it overlaps the least is kind of like what I do on YouTube or the creative stuff. Like, so if you were gonna say what's the Joe Hill's difference, in like a lot of what you're seeing is the Joe Hill's difference. Whereas like, you know, like for example, there was one person I met while I was in college that was almost that like in terms of like thought processes and worldview and all this stuff approached almost everything exactly the way I did. And the biggest difference between the two of us in terms of like anything along those lines was that her goal was to be an FBI agent and my goal was to be a Marine Corps infantry officer. But like otherwise like people were watching us interact and we're just like, this is not okay.
This
Like
is creepy.
is this a bit? Like, did somebody set this up? Is somebody screwing with me right now? Right? You know, like,
yeah, no, I can see that.
no,
that's, yeah, no, I
but yeah, presumably if there were people that were pretty similar to me, but didn't have the same medical problems, they would be doing stuff that's way more interesting than what I'm doing.
I don't know.
Like,
I think YouTube channels are pretty interesting as a career path.
I think there's a big difference though between like I'm gonna make funny things that entertain people and I'm gonna travel around the world leading tens or hundreds of people, or I'm gonna run an FBI field office, or and you know like I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm the Joe Hills that got stuck at home. Is kind of
Oh, I'm not sure that that's
that dog.
that. Oh, that is a dog. But that what I was saying. I'm not sure that that's fair on you. Is what I was saying.
No, that's I'm just saying like the people I've met who are most like me don't do anything like this. This is my fallback because
Yeah. No, I understand.
so you're very unlikely to run into a second one of me on YouTube at least.
Thank goodness.
Yay.
Dear God, chat. What you like?
See, this is why I just time anybody out who spams a bunch of emojis.
I'm okay with it. They're my
They're having
emojis.
fun.
They're
They're
having
having
fun.
fun.
They don't need to worry about what we're considering what we're talking about. You know, they
Yeah.
don't need to worry about the stream.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, we're just talking about personality. That's the least important thing.
yeah, that's fine.
Oh boy. Yeah.
As long as they respect the 5 emote max. Yeah, there is a maximum emote spam they can do.
Does the bot
The
block them
bot,
out or something?
yeah. If you do over 5 emotes, you get timed out. Well, you get your
Nice.
message deleted if nothing else.
Message deleted. Womp womp. Oh, of course I'm realizing I used like the non-photo blue that shows up the worst on the camera for this.
Yes, that's true.
That that's a non.
I mean, I can see it, and my screen
Yeah,
preview is quite small, but you know.
I should have selected something bolder.
I think you're plenty bold, Joe.
Yeah, but like that, I'm just looking at like the tiny thumbnail version of this, and this is showing up like 100 times.
I mean, that is also fair.
Bum 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 dun 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 dun.
Is Bernard sub only? Yes, so Bernard is sub only. The only things that are like, I'm fortunate that I've got follower emotes. To be fair, but the hands are emotes. So you can throw some hands, but that's all I've got. I'm afraid you're only allowed 5 anyway.
Only 5 emotes today.
That's correct.
I love being correct because it means that
I'm
if the
aware.
argument ends, I won.
You won the stream, Joe. Congratulations.
I won the stream. Yeah.
I found my ruler, so I don't have to do freehand lines at the moment.
Woo.
Freehand corners, yes.
Kindle says, "Morning, Joe. What's today's craft project? Today's big thing is we're just messing around with these 2 smaller French curves because I had lost these under. I didn't lose them. I misplaced them, but they have been unmisplaced, not replaced. I didn't buy new ones. But yeah, I had a stack of like 3 months worth of like electric and water bills and gas bills and stuff to file. I paid them all on time. Okay.
Which is fair.
But like I have a filing cabinet, and then on top of the filing cabinet I have a printer. And on top of the printer I have one of those circular things that you're supposed to put like condiments or salt and pepper shakers or
Mhm.
whatever on that spins. What do you call one of those things that spins? It's not a daisy wheel. It's
Lazy Susan.
Lazy Susan. Yeah, I have a Lazy Susan on top of the printer, on top of the filing cabinet. On top of that, I had these two French curves, and
I
then a
don't know
stack
if
of
you've ever
3 month
had,
bills.
like, as a children's book, there was a skeleton was with two skeletons. It was like, in the dark, dark town, down the dark, dark street, there was a dark, dark cellar. That's the feeling that I got when you were explaining how you found these curves.
Yeah, so the important thing to note is I got 3 months worth of paperwork filed the other day, so that's nice.
Hooray!
Hooray! Yeah.
It. That's what I was doing this morning. I was doing not budgeting, admin. I was doing tax stuff today. So
Yay. Yeah, I just verified that my quarterly taxes went through. Yay!
good.
So that's one less thing to worry about.
One less thing to worry about. One less thing to
One less
worry.
thing to worry about. Kindle says paperwork done and you get a reward at the end. Yeah, that's what I should do. Is I should just hide like candy or something under my stacks of paper. In fairness, though, that's how you get ants.
I mean, you keep it sealed. You don't just put like a gobstopper underneath.
Yeah, you gotta lick it first so it doesn't roll away.
Gross.
Have a good day at school, Lil. Domestication takes hundreds of thousands of years. Well, that's why you lick it so it doesn't roll off. We can worry. We'll let the next generation worry about domesticating gobstoppers. We'll just worry about containment.
Oh, it might be where the beef jerky went. Joe was using it as a...
I did not do that intentionally. I'm gonna one day I'll find it.
One day we will get the story of I found the beef jerky. I need to tell you about how I found the beef jerky in the dark, dark town.
Okay.
I think this is going to go over 2
Get out
pages.
some of my little stencils too. I've been better about using the stencils than I have with the French curves.
That's true, but you knew where they were.
Yeah, but also some of them don't really come up very often. So like, while I'm trying to get in the habit, or I'm trying to remind my brain that these exist. So then when I need something, I reach for it rather than just freehanding it and being miserable that it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So
fair.
Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Cleo, I sent you a message. I got like 3 double chests worth of cornflour for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
I left those at the thing.
That's fine. I'll find them. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Did you get enough light grey dye?
Not
hey,
exactly. I'm close.
Okay.
I need to go get more bone meal and then run it for a little longer. I used a lot of bone meal.
Yeah.
I used all my bone meal. But that's fine.
It is. It is fine. Correct.
Oh, NJ Coffee Junkie says, "What did I miss while my braces were being tightened?" I saw that out of my corner of my eye, and I thought NJ said, "While my braces were being frightened." And I'm just like, what kind of specialist terrifies braces? Oh, I guess an orthodontist, but still.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a terrifying thought. Yeah. What kind of dentist do you go to? They're already pretty scary.
Yeah, but to terrify braces. Oh, Kindleist says my newest episode was pretty great. Kindleist is actually quoted in that episode.
Is that why they think it's pretty great?
I'm guessing so. Now, in fairness, this is like when my last album came out and Badger Spanner was like, "Oh yeah, I bought a copy," and I'm like, two of the songs are about you, and one of them has you doing background vocals. If you're not gonna buy this, I'm not gonna sell a single copy. So thank you, I guess.
I mean, as a statement, it's kind of like, I supported the thing I was in. Good.
Yay.
I'm glad.
Well, that's the one we knew we were gonna sell. Let's see if any others roll in. Let's see. Unlimited Creativity says Kindleless is biased, but I also thought it was great. Thank you.
Sometimes, Joe, you do good. I know that doesn't seem accurate to you, but sometimes you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my new Patreon merch loaded up, which needs to go out in a video at some point. So I got Zloy doing artwork for me. So if you want to go and check out the new Patreon merch, chat.
Yeah, because Leo knows that I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, I know you're not going to do it. Yeah.
She's like, Joe just got an invoice from Asuma for 2 years of hosting. He's not buying anything for a while.
To be fair, so did I.
I know, which is why you're pushing the Patreon merch so hard. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/Joe Hills and YouTube Super Chat. Kindleless says, I thought the video was good because my comment gave you 5 minutes of material. Which, in fairness, it's a 15-minute video. So that's a third of the video is about Kindleless.
Jeez.
Well, because one of Ren's quests was read a YT comment for the next video. Right?
Yeah.
So I had to go Google what YT was an abbreviation for.
Really,
Joe?
Okay.
I'm not as hip as all the youths.
Joe, do you think I am? I'm older than you. And you have a kid. Come on.
Yeah, okay, so, like, ostensibly, you know what extra pop culture stuff I get from having a kid? Like, there was a certain age where it's like, oh, okay, I know a lot more about random kids shows than other people. But lately, my daughter just watches a bunch of Mumbo and Grian, so I just know more about Mumbo and Grian than most people. But like
that's the worst part. It's just like, these are people I work with. Could you not?
Yeah, like a dinner every
it's
night.
It's like someone getting obsessed with your colleague. It's like, oh.
Yeah, she's asking me questions like, why would Grian make this decision? Why would Mumbo make this decision? Like, I'm like, their motives are inscrutable. You can't... It's a mystery to everybody. Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. She does need to learn that, like, trying to understand the mind of Mumbo. Oof.
Yeah, also, Mahi Zero says YT is an abbreviation for young teens. So clearly, I don't know anything about young teens because I didn't even know that was a thing. So apparently, that's a big in the literary
Nobody
world.
says young teens. Nobody.
If you're targeting so they've got the YA audience for young adult, and I guess instead of because the literary world didn't like having a tween audience.
Yeah, no,
for
that's
10
fair.
to 12-year-olds.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do 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 da da da.
I love how Mumbo's called out, but not Grian. As if we can understand the mind of Grian either.
No, I was saying they're both inscrutable.
Yeah.
I was not calling out Mumbo in particular there. I was very I feel like
personally I feel like I'm more okay with Grian's thought processes than I am with Mumbo's. Not saying that I understand any of them, but I feel I can understand Grian better than I can understand Mumbo's thought processes. Because Mumbo is a special kind of lunacy. Why would Grian do X? It was a button/lever/pressure plate. It's that simple. Yeah, no, that kind of tracks as well.
Yeah.
That brain has too much redstone. Yeah. Or will it cause chaos? That's understand. That sort of explains its feral. Grian's chaotic, but Mumbo is just ineffable. Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
Speaking of ineffable, aren't they making a new Good Omens?
Yes.
When's that coming out?
I don't know. It should be sometime this year, though. Okay. This is why I'm trying to get my other half to watch the original with me.
Well, have you read the book together?
It's not really a thing that we do.
Oh, okay. It's a good book, and what?
Oh, it is. No, I'm just looking at Cameron. Cameron's just like. Although I did get him to watch House of Dragons with me at least yesterday, mostly because it was like, so long as you don't think I'm actually going to be watching, that's fine. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna let that run for a season, I think, before I jump in.
Well, I've actually been having a hankering for fantasy stuff, and I don't want to watch Rings of Power because I'm not really a Tolkien fan. So
yeah, have you right now I'm sating my fantasy needs by re-listening to the books on tape of the Brandon Sanderson Stormlight Archive books, which are each about 60 hours long, and I'm on the 4th one, and I started like last month, but yeah,
you really try. I mean, that's fair. I didn't think it was fair to like. Okay, so yesterday Cam was just like, I mean, I'll watch it with you. I just want to hang out, and it was like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think we should watch it if you don't actually really want to watch it. He's just like, no, it's fine. So I say I got him to watch The House of Dragons, but it was a case of he insisted because I wanted to watch it, which was nice. But yes, I mean, I could do books on tape, but I'm not really. It's something that I want to, have a more visual experience with. So.
Yeah. I feel like I spend a lot of my time looking at screens anyway. Well, the other problem I have is like a lot of the shows, the times I would be watching TV are times I would be listening to books on tape because it's like when I'm cooking, when I'm doing laundry, so I'm not really looking at the screen either way. So I might as well listen to something that's not designed to be a visual experience because like I would be missing half the TV show regardless.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't know.
I mean, Cam's allowed. Okay, they're picking on Cam. Like, Cam's allowed to not like certain genres of stuff. Like, it's like I'm not a big fan of cartoons. You know?
What about Rick and Morty? What about Adventure Time?
Never seen it.
What about Amphibia?
Never seen it.
What about The Simpsons?
I I mean,
Futurama.
Futurama's all right. I will watch Futurama. But like most of the time, it's to do with expressions, I think. It's like I can't, like, overblown expressions really pull me out of, like, enjoying things. It's like when somebody is overacting, you know?
Uh-huh.
And that just makes me go, ugh. But I get that feeling all the time with, like, animated stuff. Like, not all animated stuff. I mean, I do enjoy some. It's just not my go-to, you know?
Have you watched The Lower Decks?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Oh, Corpse. I might be running late this evening for our stream because I'm having to do a recording thing with people.
Oh no, what a burden.
I know.
I'm sure they're terrible people that you don't want to spend time with, unlike Corpse.
I'm mostly just apologizing for, like, because if it was just me having to record on my own, I wouldn't do it then.
Uh-huh.
But because it's like other people are involved, I have to do it then because we've arranged it, Joe.
What do you mean we've arranged it?
Well, yeah, no,
I was fine with doing it Monday. I was fine with doing it Tuesday. It got pushed twice because of other people who couldn't do those days.
That's true, but you'll notice that I wasn't one of them, Joe. I wasn't one of them.
I wasn't one of them, Cleo.
Neither was I, Joe.
Goo.
Thank you, Bacon Lamb, for the 17-month resubscribe. It has been a long time. Oh no, more time to shout. That's fine. Okay. And also, chat, if you're willing to come by for the evening stream, it's going to be a bit late. Probably. It might not be, but I don't know.
Well, I gotta pick up my kid, so like this thing better not run too late. Like,
yeah.
If we need more than 45 minutes, I'm out. Like.
Fair.
So. Or at least I'll be like, okay, I'll be back. Hasta la vista.
Well, I'm supposed to be streaming at 9, so we should have an hour. Johnny the Boy is resubscribed for 17 months. Excited to want to treat this all like a podcast, but then not study at all. Go study. Turn us off. The VOD will be here. Go study. Promise. But thank you for the resub.
Oh yeah, I straight up ban people who are like, I should be doing homework, but I'm not. I'm just like, nope, I won't be. This is a place that people who did their work get to relax after, or people who are currently doing their work get to have something on in the background. If you're here bumming everybody out because you are choosing not to do your work, then no time for that.
Yeah. But you are a bit too strict with that, I feel sometimes.
I'm strict with everything.
I know, but that's the only way you can actually function, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. No, I don't think... Because, like, basically, otherwise I would just be asleep. It's like, if I had the energy to deal with this, it would be because I was not dealing with this. Because I have a sleep.
Yeah. Whereas people with a little bit more energy, aka me...
Yeah, you can run your chat with
how I like, yes.
Well, I run mine how I like, I guess.
I've noticed, but you always comment on how I run my chat, saying, "Well, I wouldn't do this. I'm not you, Joe. You're not my dad."
Obviously.
Thank God. Actually, I don't think you'd be too bad as a dad.
I'm trying to be an okay dad. I don't know.
I mean, for me.
Yeah.
I think you'd be all right.
Well, I mean, I speak the language.
You do. You do.
That one wasn't ideal. 724.
We run chat as a communist nation. Oh, Joe, somebody complained in... You know how there's ban appeals that you've not looked at?
Oh, yeah.
Someone Someone in the ban appeal just went, because they got their message removed, and then they threw a hissy fit. It's like, this is not how this. God, what was it? It's like, I don't think that this is how it should be run. This is communism. And of course, my mods had an absolute field day. They were in hysterics by the time I got to them, because it's just sort of like that we've seized the means of chat production. It's like, dear God.
Well, I encourage people, like, if you don't like how I run my stream, you should
Go and
run
make your own
stream. That's like, if somebody's like, I don't like what you're painting, encourage them to paint the things they want to see. Like, create the experiences that you want to see exist in the world.
And okay, Joe, I've got to go because there is a thing. Be right back.
Is that the AFK? Okay, you're not ending the stream. Yeah. Go do your thing that you warned me about earlier. Okay, so while Cleo is away, let's see what's going on. Glad y'all could be here today. Yeah, zombies don't really have a means of production. They have a means of consumption. Zombies are a consumption-driven society, which arguably is closer to capitalism in some ways. Glitchy Potato says communism. Clearly, the actual joke is communism, Glitchy Potato, but I'll give you a pass. But yeah, communism. You could definitely do like a whole you could do a whole thing with that. I mean, the real boy. You could have like a chibi version of Marx's, or sorry, not Marx, Lenin's preserved corpse. Like, talking about. You could do a lot with communism. It's probably not a good idea. Spark is gone says, this is my first time in a Cleo stream, and I wasn't expecting communism. Okay.
No one expects communism.
Yeah.
That is a very heavy box.
Oh no.
Sorry. Bit out of breath.
Yeah, Elijah says, hearing Joe say communism dealt some unexpected psychic damage this fine morning.
Yeah. We want the ban hammer and sickle. We're not talking about real communism. We're talking about chat communism. So let's veer away from the real stuff. Chat. Oh dear. But I do like what was it? Communism. Communism. I like it.
Sees the means of production.
Production. Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh boy. So America's about to have a bunch of problems. So you remember how all of your strikes got canceled because the Queen died?
Yeah.
Ours didn't. So apparently the railway engineer and conductors unions, which are two distinct unions, but they're part of like a 10 union block that represent different sets of railway workers, started complaining at the beginning of COVID that they didn't want that basically the way that their work shifts operated,
Mm-hmm.
where they have 12 days on and then a few days off, was fine in a non-pandemic setting, but the fact that they weren't allowed to take sick days or bereavement leave in the middle of those 12 days if somebody in their family
Oh,
died or they got COVID was a bad system. And they've been complaining for 2 years about this. And the negotiations, basically, their employers are willing to give them a 25% increase in pay,
20.
but
That doesn't feel
instead of
like it's
sick
enough.
days. Instead of
Instead
sick
of
days.
sick day. What if
And
you're sick?
well, you shouldn't get COVID during a pandemic, clearly. Um, so anyway, so they're looking like they're gonna strike because after 2 years of negotiation,
People
the
should
companies
be
are
allowed to be
refusing.
sick.
Yeah, the companies are refusing to give them sick time, and so the government now is like, well, we kind of need trains to transport hazardous materials to like water treatment plants and stuff. And it's like, so maybe we should discourage these people from striking. It's like, okay, are you going to discourage them from striking by insisting that they get sick days? No, we're just going to explain that water treatment plants are important and hope they understand not
Of
to get sick. And it's like,
I
so
have questions, and some of them are like, "What the hell?"
yeah, so we're about to have an interesting time here in the States unless that gets resolved.
Yeah, no, that seems not fun.
Yeah. So, one of the big rail lines is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, and so Warren Buffett is going to be in the news more. And he usually does not like being in the news for anything not positive. So, we'll see
Oh,
how this is going to go. But like I'm hoping that he just basically says, "Look, we got to do this cuz we're getting a lot of heat here." But yeah.
40% of sick days take place on Mondays and Fridays, which seems suspicious when until you realise that's 40% of the time.
Yeah.
Thank you, JT. I appreciate your sense of humour, but I thought I'd explain the joke because it took me a moment.
Salem says, "Why don't they just use that money to hire more people so there's backups?" That's my point. Is like, clearly, if you don't have a system that can function, if people actually get sick and need to take time off, you don't have a functioning system in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is crucial infrastructure. We can't have people not working. It's like, no,
You
this is
need
crucial
redundancy if
infrastructure.
it's crucial industry.
We need redundancy. So
And that's
Kindle
not
SMP
making
says,
people redundant.
yeah,
That's
Kindle
having
SMP,
backups.
yeah, Kindle says counting on a billionaire to make a good decision is like counting on an oligarch to make a good decision. I mean, this is virtually indistinguishable in the case of Warren Buffett, and so, but realistically, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how this is gonna go.
No,
But yeah, so
things are going to get fun. And by
but
fun, I mean awful.
we've proven in Jackson, Mississippi and Flint, Michigan that you don't need clean water from a pipe. You can just get 6 gallons a day in bottles. So,
You don't need it. It's just a nice to have.
it's a nice to have. It's a nice to have. Um,
God.
so yeah, we'll see how that goes.
How are we going to deal with these upcoming strikes, Doug? Well, obviously, Chuck will point out how we can't survive without their labour. Yeah, that's going to go well. That's going to go well.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so Badger is saying there's also other railroad workers who run signals, etc. Well, so the thing is that the 8 other railway unions that are not the conductors and engineers are likely to strike in solidarity if these two strike. So it won't even be like they could just be like, well, let's bring in the replacement non-union train conductors and engineers, because I'm sure that's a job that you could just pull Johnny off the street for.
Oh, yeah. Like,
You know,
I know how to drive a train.
Like,
Eh?
I mean, in fairness, I feel like I could figure out how to make the train move if somebody else set it up for me, but doing that setup step of, like,
Oh,
making sure
yeah.
that it has enough, like, of all of the vital fluids. What are the vital fluids that go in a train? I'm assuming the diesel ones need diesel, but maybe they also need, like, coolant lines or, like, other things, knowing which pressure gauges are okay to run red and which ones have to stay in the
Don't
green,
trains and
like,
planes just drive themselves these days? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, I'm sure, like Joe, if I set it up, I could make it go, and I could probably make it stop.
but the thing is, would I be able to make a turn safely? Do especially, like, that's the thing. It's like, just because I could figure out how the throttle works doesn't mean I know where you have to drop to 15 miles an hour or
Yeah.
what to do if there's something on the tracks ahead of you or
I mean, I would be going at a solid 20 miles an hour tops. So I could make it go, but I wouldn't trust myself to, not flip the train. We'd do a wheelie. It wouldn't be planned, but that's how we would do it.
when you're popping a wheelie in a train, that's when you know that you're cool.
Yeah.
Like Cleo, look, we are hip with the kids. We're popping wheelies in trains. Do a barrel roll.
I reckon that I could make it do a barrel roll. It shouldn't do a barrel roll, but I'm sure I could make it do one.
Badger Spanner says that she has 300 hours plus in the CSX train simulator, but she isn't a scab. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Badger, for not helping break the strike, despite all your train simulator experience. Hunter Colony says, I tried a train simulator once without playing the tutorial, and I did not do great. Elastic Rubber Band says, in a train, yeah, pop off the tracks. But yeah, I guess that's true.
Since I have your permission.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's just wild. So I forget how we got onto this. Oh yeah, communism. But yeah, I've been watching this train strike news, like, coming down the tracks, to stretch the metaphor. Like, well, because the thing is, like, these negotiations have been going on for months, right? And they're getting worse and worse. And, like, the Washington Post is like, the president needs to convince the workers not to stop working. And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe the president needs to convince the the bosses not to be dicks. Like,
Maybe he could just convince them that, they won't strike if they get paid better and are able to take sick days. Maybe you should train more people to do the jobs when other people are sick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm surprised you don't have, like, a substitute agency like you do with teaching.
Well, I'm guessing that a big part of it is that so few people are educated on how to operate a train. I was gonna say trained properly.
That's why you train them.
That's why you think these people would be better at training. Committed says, my friend is a train engineer and the requirements are so strict he almost got fired during training because the instructor made a mistake and they took a curve too fast. Yeah, so that's the thing, is I'm guessing that's a pretty hard industry, because that's one of those things where you can never be a little slow or a little late on stuff. You could really kill a lot of people real fast, even if it's not a passenger train.
You can kill a lot of people really fast. See, we have Joe's permission. We can do it.
Yep. Nepeta says, if chat went on strike, what would it even look like? Honestly, I don't think that. Keep in mind, like when I started streaming, I would have 1 to 5 people in chat for the first like 3 or 4 years. It would, it would just be nostalgic, I guess. uh,
Hadn't considered that.
Yeah, it would not be a problem. Mahi Zero says maybe the newspaper owned by a billionaire that requires goods shipped all over the country on trains is not a good place to find opinions on train strikes.
I think you're just being harsh there.
Yeah. I mean, the Washington Post. It's the nation's paper of record, practically.
Oh dear. I love a good dystopia. Not this one. This one's a bad dystopia.
This is a terrible dystopia.
There's no zombies or anything. Just despair.
Oops, all despair.
All despair all the time. Chat joining the strike would be fine. Mods going on strike would literally hold the channel hostage.
Nope.
Not for Joe. Joe doesn't have mods. For me, I don't know. I think I could probably manage, like, most of the time because, like, chat's fine. This is the most boring possible dystopia. I agree. I mean, as dystopias go, like, there's no... I was about to say there's no plague. Hang on, let me...
I'll just give you a second on that one.
Yeah,
You don't mind?
Yeah. You say chat's fine, you don't see what... to be fair, yeah, it might be the fact that chat's fine because the mods are doing their job. So, I appreciate the mods. I think I would probably be okay without mods. I'd probably be a lot more miserable, to be honest. I wouldn't enjoy streaming as much, I think. Don't see what we had in the cams. Yeah, no. Unless it's funny. I do see what you deal with when it's funny. Arena Snow resubscribed for 18 months. Double baby. If that's what you want, you're allowed to. I mean, 1 seems a bit much, but that's just my personal opinion. You'd have difficulty doing joint Hermitcraft streams. Yes, that's true. When I'm with another Hermit, I basically disconnect from the chat a bit, which is not the best, but you know.
Just slow mode.
Joe, my chat is always in slow mode.
Mine too.
Most streams find Raft is a mess and Sims is a mess. Yeah, that's because people try and backseat me all the time, and it's like, no. You can be more relaxed when you're streaming. Yeah. Having moderators lets me chill out a lot more.
Do stream mods have a union? No, but they should. People have asked me, like, Joe, what would you do if your moderators tried to unionize? It's like,
you cheer them on.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Like, realistically, like, with what I basically tried to ask myself when I was structuring their jobs, what would a union ask for the most part? Or, like, in terms of, like, pay, setting their own hours, expectations, things like that. Yeah, no, I mean, like, they might ask for some stuff that I haven't thought of, but, like, it wouldn't be one of those things where it's like, oh no, I have to pay people more than $3 an hour now. What? But Anyway, Andrew, thank you very much for the tip. Our second tip of the morning for $100, who says, rotate Joe, do. So that's going to bring me up to 105 degrees angular. If you look over here, the camera is slowly rotating as I roll my scroll wheel. Da-da-da-da. Tommy Voice says, I've been treated too well. Well, you haven't gotten lazy though, Tommy, so I think it's fine.
The fact it's not called jotation. I understand.
It is called jotation, actually, but I try not to overdo it with the jargon when I'm on a group stream.
Joe, it's me.
Well, but your audience isn't necessarily familiar with all the jargon. I don't want to overwhelm
I'm
them.
looking at my audience like, they understand. They understand.
They can figure out the pun jotation.
They can, I promise you. And even if they couldn't, I'm sure someone in chat would be willing to explain it. What does jotation mean? It means Joe rotates things.
Thank you, Andrew. That's going to put us at 105 degrees angular. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat.
Jotation is a new thing. We've never heard of it before. Okay. So I think I can actually get working on November's theme. Which, since I've got this shiny stuff, probably rainbows?
Woo!
Rainbows would be good. Oyenda cheered 1,000 biddies, saying today's lesson in home ownership. If you sign a contract for solar power on a Friday, don't be surprised if your AC breaks on the Monday.
Oh, no.
That's, yeah, no. Well, like, arguably, don't be surprised if things break is, like, the first rule of home ownership, isn't it?
I thought it was thou shalt have no other gods before me, but it might be different in the UK.
Most things are, Joe, I found. Most things are.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do for the quote.
What's the theme that you need a quote about? Around?
Rainbows.
Rainbows.
That's the second rule. First rule of home ownership is to pay your mortgage.
If I'm gonna be in a prism, I want to see the bars. I don't know. There's something.
No, I think we'll find something.
Tyler tipped 5 and says jotation. Do. So thank you very much, Tyler. That's going to rotate us to 110 degrees angular. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/JoeHills and YouTube Super Chat.
So, red.
America is the world's dystopia. Thanks, Badger. You're not wrong.
We appreciate you, Badger.
Yeah.
And your truth-speaking abilities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was talking to one of my siblings about America's increasingly conservative laws in certain regards, and I was just like, yeah, maybe getting off to Europe soon would be good. And it's like, well, unfortunately, Europe is kind of rolling that way too.
Yep.
Why does everywhere have to be terrible at once?
I mean, not everywhere is terrible all at once. It's just mostly.
I know.
It's just mostly all at once.
Mostly. Dang it.
I was going to say I'm trying to come up with proper spectrum, but that's not accurate. I'm trying to come up with something that's pretty and has nice colours in it. Because spectrum requires 7, and I'm definitely doing more than 7.
Oh, Cleo, are you familiar with spoken word records? Like Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner's.
I am aware of the... Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, here, just hear me out on this.
No.
How do you feel about me doing a spoken word album And like the cover of the album is a picture of Hidden Lake. Let me see if I can find Hidden Lake. I've got a picture of it somewhere. Dang it, no, I don't have a picture of it.
Nothing good has ever come from Hear Me Out on this.
Okay, so basically it's like this quarry that's now a lake in Tennessee. And I drag a log into the shallows, and I sit in my green screen suit and get a like with a little guitar and get like a Kermit the Frog picture, and the title or the first song in the album is Rainbow Connection.
I mean, it's doable.
Yeah.
And
Now
it's definitely you.
What I'm still working on is my. It's hard for me when I try and do a like William Shatner voice. I completely lose the twang, and I like because I'm doing like a Shatner impression at that point, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to live like common people. I want to do whatever common people do. I want to dance with common people. I want to dance with common people like you. See, like I need to. So I'm trying to figure out how to do like a combination of a Shatner impression and my normal voice. So like, why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it. The rainbow connection. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. I think there's something here. I think
think there is something there, and I hate it.
Incredi Mike says it ain't easy being green screen. Incredi Mike. That's so good.
I'm not entirely sure Joe knows what I did during the
Sounds like you were clapping.
Oh no, during the Star Trek conversation. I don't think Joe knows.
No, probably not.
It's fine. It wasn't bad. It's just rude.
Everybody is clapping for Incredi Mike's pun. Nobody clapped for my rainbow connection.
I mean, it did come one after the other.
Yeah. Elijah says, I let out a terrible screech and it ain't easy being green screen. That's what I want. I want my streams to evoke a Lovecraftian incomprehension of what is being perceived, accompanied by wailing.
You have succeeded. It is a good pun. It is a good one.
Withervane, so the twang isn't hard normally. The issue is that when I'm trying to do an impression of somebody else, one of the first steps is usually to drop it, right? So if I'm like, howdy y'all, is Suma here, like, that's not as close as if I just go with a completely neutral, hello, is Suma here? Like, that wasn't even close to a British accent, but it was closer because it didn't have the twang. So, like, dropping the twang is like step one for almost any impression. And so, like, trying to match somebody's, like, when I'm doing a Shatner impression, I get his cadence by doing his voice. I need to catch the cadence without doing the voice. Cleo, I've actually got an entire list of songs I'm considering for this. Do you want to hear some of these?
Go for it.
Okay. When I say I've got the list, I'm finding. Wow, I make a lot of notes on my phone. Okay.
Okay.
Bum 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 bum. Okay. So let me pull up a few of the other ones I was gonna do that I was thinking, because like I'm actually thinking of doing this. Because like, okay, just a Steel Town girl on a Saturday night, looking for the fight of her life. In the real-time world, no one sees her at all. They all say she's crazy. Locking rhythms to the beat of her heart, changing movement into light. She has danced into the danger zone when the dancer becomes the dance. It can cut you like a knife if the gift becomes the fire on a wire between will and what will be. She's a maniac on the floor, and she's dancing like she's never danced before. Dang it.
Before.
Before. Okay, so that's one of them. So yeah, I was thinking of doing Maniac.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Hold on, here's another one. We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed. I fell under your spell, a love no one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wreck me. So there's another one.
That's a special one.
I feel like so the thing is, we've got this whole thing where I can, because so with our distributor, I can do covers of other people's songs, and we have to pay a license fee on every sale.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine, because it's like, oh, we get 1/100 of a penny every time this plays on Spotify, and 1/3 of that 1/100 of a penny is gonna go to whoever wrote this, Miley Cyrus, right?
Yeah.
So like, oh no. Yeah. So it's like, if you're gonna be stuck in a terrible dystopia, you might as well have bad spoken word albums by Joe Hills. But yeah, I don't know. We're workshopping this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
no, I know. Drop the Shatner impression out of it and go full Joe Hills. Oh, God. Can we handle full Joe
that's the
Hills?
thing though, is I don't know. Like, I guess I don't have I don't think it's as funny. Like, if it's me taking myself, because the other thing is, so some of the stuff on the album would be parody, or not parody, but covers of songs, which is kind of making fun of William Shatner. But so on Shatner's albums, some of the songs were covers, and some of them were like his original poetry. And so this is an excuse for me to package me reading some of my original poems with Sean doing backing vocals and backing music or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but in a way that's not incredibly self-indulgent, or it's extra self-indulgent because it's me
I mean,
making fun of William Shatner at the same time because I
it's
want
pretty
to.
self-indulgent as a concept already.
It just, yeah.
I mean,
Like,
making it more self-indulgent isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just a you
I
thing.
feel like, yeah, we just need to turn it up to 11, you know?
I know.
You know, I'm not saying that this is Spinal Tap, but oh, this is Spinal Tap. Yeah, I kind of want to make a meme image of Eleanor from The Good Place going, "Oh, this is Spinal Tap." Like, maybe show somebody turning something up to 11 first. I don't know. We'll workshop that too. Dottie Matrix says, "What needs to happen to make this album exist?"
I think it's already on the verge of existing. You don't
I
need
mean,
to do much of anything.
no, I mean, it is a cash flow issue more than anything, because every song that I commission from my sibling is a few $100. So actually making this would probably cost me, let's say, $1,500 up front, and
Mm-hmm.
then in sales we would make back like 300 to 400 of it. This is not a good investment.
No,
Uh,
this is as we described earlier, a little bit self-indulgent.
yeah. This is what, like, the problem is I've got like a bunch of other stuff that I need to cover. Like, I'm trying to save in case I need to move when my lease is up, or I also ideally need to have money set aside for a down payment on a house, which currently that's sitting at 0 because I ate through that in order to survive the Hermitcraft hiatus, and I haven't. Every time I think I'm replenishing it, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that other thing that I didn't replace during the Hermitcraft hiatus, because I was like, oh, I'll save that money by not fixing this, and it's like, nope, this is absolutely broken now I need to replace that or whatever. So it's like, basically, I'm not in a good place savings wise. I'm getting by month to month, but I can't commit to like big new projects like that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not just like, oh well, if what if we give you $1,500 to make this album? I'm like, well, that doesn't really fix my savings problem. I need to have more than that in order to justify like, this is a lower priority than other stuff that I need to set aside money for. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
This is the most vain vanity project possible. So, like, where compared to like making sure my child has a good home if my landlord jacks up the rent, because oh my gosh, rent around here has like shot up like
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and yeah, I'm like terrified of the, like, luckily last time I renegotiated the lease, like, rent was kind of had taken a dip,
Mm-hmm.
and so I got it locked in for 18 months, but I've got like 9 I've got like 10 or 11 months left on that, and I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, no, I can
Because
understand
like,
that.
since then things have shot up like crazy. Like, a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment in
Mm.
Nashville right now is stupid expensive. So right now I'm just gonna keep brainstorming this and workshopping, because, like, honestly, having a year or two to kind of um come up with the ideal versions of these songs, and because, like, it ain't easy being green screen is such an obvious joke now that Incredimike says it, but that wasn't even on my radar to try that one, right? So, like, if I just mess around for a year or two trying different spoken word versions of songs on streams and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and also seeing which of my poems actually work and which don't, like, at the end of it, you'll hopefully get what's not a terrible album. Like, it'll be a very vain vanity project, but it'll be hopefully funny, because, like,
I,
I'll know from work. Oh, sorry, go on.
I suspect it will be funny,
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah. So if I spend a year and a half workshopping it on stream,
Oh
you know,
no.
well, I'm not saying every night, but like here and there.
Yeah, no, that could work. That could work.
Yeah. So Corky says some folks in NYC had their rent doubled. Mahi Zero says an estimate that Dallas Fort Worth needs an extra 15 to 20,000 new apartments a year for the projected growth, so rent's going up until they build those. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
No.
So,
It is not a
I
fun moment.
but like,
It's tape playing remix.
Ideola. Hold on.
So Klumali was just saying she wants to redo it. Sorry, they wanted to redo their nails because I don't know.
Gotcha.
um,
Ideola
because
says, "What
of
are you
rain.
making?" And it's like, I'm playing with stencils and French curves. I'm probably gonna start a new one. I did this one in blues and greens,
Mm-hmm.
and so if anybody wants to admire this before I turn the page and start a second one, this is not good art, but it's not a bad practice either.
Mm-hmm.
Fallstar tips 5 and says, prank idea, make a Minecraft map of TNT, cover someone else's base with item frames and copies of the map. I think I'd have to make the sides and the top maps, though, is the problem. But it's
doable.
It's doable. We'll come back to that. That's not terrible. But either way, let's go ahead and rotate the camera another 5 degrees. Thank you very much, Fallstar. Rotate now to 115. Tips are welcome via paypal.me/showhills and YouTube Super Chat. Cardjewel says, wow, it's art. Mary Rudlin Behar Dubakul says, it's an abstract. Thank you.
Yeah. From Australia, caught a stream because you're sick and can't sleep. Oh no!
I'll get better, please.
Please feel better.
I'm begging of you, get well.
A little bit dramatic, Joe.
I know. Since I did that one,
see you later, JT.
I kind of want to do this one in like yellows and oranges, and reds, but I'm realizing that might not show up very well. So let's try.
Is there any colors that you know that will show up very well?
Well, the yellow might still show up better than the non-photo blue, so let's. Yeah, that's not bad. Yellow shows up.
There you go.
Dun, 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 dun.
Come on. Come on. There you go. There we go.
Yeah.
I do love me a rainbow.
Craig says, I think my job interview went well yesterday. Awesome. Oh, congrats.
Fingers crossed for you. I hope you get to... I don't know what your job was. I was going to say something and then I'm just like, I have no idea. I hope you do the thing. That's about as much as I can do.
Yeah.
We believe in you. Do the thing.
Yeah. Let's see. If I open the window more, well, then you get the frame. But oh, actually, you can't see anything. I could reset the camera setting 1 second. Properties, figure video, exposure. Nope, that's worse. Opposite direction.
It's always worse, Joe.
I had to turn the exposure all the way down in order to even see the dot grid.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's not. I think we're gonna close that again.
Good luck doing that thing you do. Yeah, no, that's basically the equivalent of what I was saying. I was like, I have no idea. There we go. Here I was trying to figure out why Clea had a scalpel on her desk. Ah, this is why. This is what I do. I do this a lot with lettering.
I'd mistraced that. Womp,
oh no.
Womp.
Womp womp.
I have marred this otherwise
pristine
beautiful image. Have a good day at work training, Salem. Hold on, we've got a thing for this.
Choo-choo!
It's a train.
It is. It's a whole train. Won't be hearing very many of those in America soon.
I know. Yep, that hung up at the same place. So that's part of this too, is noticing like, okay, when I'm tracing using some of these, it's gonna hang here if I'm not careful.
Mm-hmm. I think I need to replace the blade.
got a tip rolling in from Incredible Mike, who says, "For the arts, specifically Joe's art." Well, thank you very much, Incredible Mike. That is going to get us rotated to an even 200. Do 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 do. Oh, wait. That's hold on. Wait, nope, that was the wrong one. Never mind. I was adding 200 to the 180 on the art thing. Nope, that's gonna get us to 135 on the camera. My bad. Womp 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 womp. I was like, I don't remember getting to 180. I feel like I'd be all the way upside down, but that's fine. Okay, let's just add 20 to that.
Joe.
Thank you, Incredible Mike.
The whole point of the scalpel is you put it away when you're not working with it, so your cats don't get onto it. I have a box.
You have a box?
I have a box that
what
has...
What kind of box?
This kind of box. It's plastic. It's where like that's where it goes. That's where it lives. What's up with the tag? I was wondering when somebody would ask me about those tags. Me and Cam were putting the tags on when the weather was really hot. And I just went and I just went, sometimes I'm melting, and Cam just like, do you want that as a tag? And I was like, yes.
Can you add whatever tags you want to streams? I thought it was limited to like...
It used to be. Now you can add them to whatever you like.
Oh, hold on. So I'm going to add those. How do I... Okay, edit stream info. Tags. Sometimes I'm melting. Sometimes. So this way, if somebody is like... clicks on your thing, they'll find my stream too. Because
that's the thing that they're gonna do. They're gonna look at those tags. Those are good for searchability, Joe. Those two particular tags.
That's Cleo. You know that searchability is my middle name.
I know, and that's why I'm warning you that they're very, very good for that.
Okay, so let's see. Each tag can be 25 characters long with no spaces or special characters. Oh boy, challenge
and
accepted.
You can have like 25 of them, I think.
No, you can have. I can have up to 10 because I'm not a partner.
Ah.
Okay.
Here we go. Brainstorming tags for Joe. I always search for Joe.
That's so many letters. Just a Steel Town girl on a Saturday night is 34 letters.
Just a Steel Town girl, and then the other one.
Yeah, we're doing...
Oh, gosh. E-Yil has resubscribed for 5 months. I think I got that one. Thank you very much. Appreciated.
I'm putting the mania in Maniac.
This rainbow effect is so good. What, you mean just putting in a rainbow?
Oh,
I appreciate it.
My happiness fit. There's a great thing in Dracula. Like, seriously, if y'all haven't been rereading Dracula or taken time to read it in the first place, there's some great bits in there. Like Lucy Westenra at one point closes a letter with "Pray for my happiness." So I'm putting "Pray for my happiness." Does that fit? Yeah, that fits. Okay.
Joe. I shouldn't have told Joe about this.
Oh, this is the best.
Sometimes I'm a meat popsicle. Yeah, sometimes.
Oh boy, this is... I know I'm supposed to be drawing, but
this, you're having more fun with this right now.
I have a new toy. Here's the other thing, Cleo, is I'm going to set these, and these will just be on there for the next 20 years.
Or until they get deleted or something, yeah.
Like, yeah, until Twitch does a cull or something. Like, like people are like, when are you gonna update your Twitter bio? And I'm like, I'm not. I worked hard on that. It's finished. We might have new interpretations of it later, but the original source text is gonna remain.
I've given him too much power. You know what? Joe deserves some power. As a treat. Oh. That one's coming up. Okay. Interesting.
Cruising through Block Island Sound is too many letters. Oh boy.
Joe preserves the history of his channel. Does he though?
I don't know. It's not easy being green screen is probably too many letters.
Probably, but give it a try.
Let's try it. 26 letters.
Then just like not easy being green screen. Or take out the apostrophe.
No, that's without the apostrophe. It's fine. If you don't tag Hermitcraft, I might be. Why would I tag it with Hermitcraft?
The stream is not specifically Hermitcraft. This is just Joe's tags for Joe self.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get the outside of this all fixed. I'm sorry that I did this.
Wild ponies running free across the plains is 52 characters. Okay.
Tags are not counted towards tweet length. No, they're not. I don't think they ever were, but I could be wrong. Did I get a quote? No. I'm okay with going quoteless for a bit. I'll find one before the beginning of next week, if nothing else.
Sorry. What was the theme again that you need a quote around? Rainbows?
Rainbows. It's okay. I just need a quote that speaks to me, and I need to research that myself.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Oh, do love it when a plan comes together. Double rainbow. It's all right, guys. I don't need you to satisfying Paul. I don't need you to find quotes for me. I can find quotes for myself. It's fine. Because I only put them in here when they're important to me.
Yeah. Something like, you miss 100% of the rainbows you don't refract.
You miss 100% of the rainbows you don't chase.
Yeah.
And 100% of the rainbows you do. Because rainbows aren't physical objects. Rainbows aren't matter.
Oh, hold on. The lovers, the dreamers, and me. It's 25 characters!
Well done, Joe.
Yeah, let me just camel case that properly. The lovers, the streamers, and me won't fit because it's one too many characters.
Yes.
Oh, Cleo, were you there when I was? Oh no, this was not a craft stream where I was like, "What's the Joe Hills equivalent of Live, Laugh, Love?" And it's
I was there for that one. That was on a craft stream.
Was it a craft stream? Yes, stream,
Yeah.
scream, dream.
Yes. I was there. I remember.
Okay.
I think there's a comment about it.
Use an ampersand in there.
No. The love was the streamer and I. No, that's not how the song goes. And Joe is nothing if not musically
inept.
I was going to say though there's a word that I've just lost and it's fine. Let's move on.
Moving on
because I can't remember the word. Yep, definitely need to change the blade.
I like to think that we create opportunities for the blade to change itself. The blade has to want to change.
I see.
I think that's how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? One, but the light bulb has to want to change.
Captain Scarlet, the spectrum is green.
Nepeta says there's a Tumblr post that reads, "Evil Joe Hills, lift your head up and scream." That's pretty good. I would say instead of lift, I would say raise, because it rhymes with lay, kind of. Raise your head up and scream. Raise your head.
You don't need to encourage Joe to scream.
Oh boy, I actually have to be careful
Anna,
not to scream because the mic isn't calibrated for it. Oh, have you heard my the voice that I use for Van Helsing in the Dracula streams?
I think we've talked about it, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I have to face away from the microphone when I do it. Because it's more like, Dr. Seward, my friend! Without a transfusion of fresh blood, she will surely die! I can't do it without the text in front of me. I'm not actually getting it very well. Hold on, it's more like... If we do not act, who will?
Dramatic.
Yeah.
There we go. Rainbows. Oh dear. Oh. Ow, my back. Should not have done that. Right? Yeah, everybody crack your own backs because mine's just gone. Green is the best colour. It is. Green is my favourite colour. Why does it... I don't know why it reminds you of that, Andra. I thought orange was your favourite colour. Yes. Known for my love of orange. As a colour, orange sucks. I'm sorry. If you like orange, you're wrong. Green is not a creative colour. Didn't say it was. Okay. don't know what I would draw here. I'll come back to it. Maybe I can get some like rainbow stickers or something in the meantime. Oh, speaking of rainbow washi tape.
Okay, so I've decided to also add a Twitch tag with the opening line of the song "Hey Sandy" by Polaris, which is "Hey Smiling Strange." Yeah.
Yep. Do I have any stickers that are rainbow inspired? Oh, I've got some of the brights there.
You look at happily to me, Sandy. Da 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 da.
Isn't there a Don't Dog Me, I'm Scared coming out? So probably. Yeah, I've got like these little swatches of colour. I don't know why these are stickers as a rule, but you know. I think it works. Do I ever use paint in my... I don't like to, because I like to be able to move on without having to wait for things to dry.
Yeah, so when I was doing painting on stream, I was painting like 8 figurines at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was rotating in and out which ones were drying and which ones I was working on. And
unfortunately, I'm using a book, Joe.
yeah, for painting a book, that's a different process. Ideally, you want to paint the pages before you bind them so you can have them all laid out.
Yes. That's true. There you go. I like these. These are cool. I'm not entirely sure what they're like. These are like pre-made logos. Why would I want that? Why would I want that?
Pre-made logos for like what?
They're just on stickers.
Like, are they fake?
This
logos
one's. I think they're fake. It's like Alexandra Maris, dietary consultants. Yep. No. Yeah.
That's the most plausible name for a business. Alexander Maris, dietary consultant.
Yep.
I think that sounds like a bit. You should just do a bit in your YouTube videos for each of these logos. Be like, "Hello, I'm Alexander Maris, dietary consultant. Have you considered eating more pies? Some people might think that carrots are the healthiest thing for your eyes, but that's actually a myth propagated to conceal the existence of radar." Or
I don't know. It's just like,
that's why you need to talk to me, Alexander Maris, dietary consultant.
just like Grace Leaves Floral Boutique.
Hi, I'm Grace Leaves. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to talk about my floral boutique.
Marissa Moore Wedding Photography.
Got a Marissa Mall.
S-Bells Home Decoration. Like, why? Why is this a thing?
Cleo, this is not just one thing. This is a whole bunch of things. You need to just go into this. Just lean into it. Just do all of these. I love it.
Oh God, there's more.
These are delightful. How many are there? Are they the same?
No, it's 21 pre-made logos.
21.
Charlotte Coyle, decorator.
Charlotte Coyle? Don't slough off this Charlotte Coyle. I'm the decorator you need.
Geranium Studios, flower decoration. Jessica Walters, photographer, designer, and blogger.
I'm pretty sure Jessica Walters is real and also passed away. So that one's in poor taste.
Okay. Nicole Adams, florist décorateur. In French, specifically.
Decorateur.
Décorateur.
It's like a saboteur.
There's just one here that says Artland.
All right.
This is surreal. I don't understand. I don't understand any of these stickers. Like
oh boy. Oh
why
boy.
paint swatches stickers?
There's something here. There's something here with Decorateur. Like let's say that you bring in Jem as a consultant on like, hey Jem, I want to make the portal to my base more welcoming. And I was thinking I would go with a decorator, but then I realized no, I should go with a decorateur. Like there's something here.
There's something here for you. Maybe. This is not a Cleo thing. This is definitely... Someone designed these and printed thousands of them, yes.
And then sent them to you instead of me by mistake.
I'm quite willing, Joe, to send these things to you when I'm finished with the ones that I don't want.
The problem is I really don't need more things. Like I am I'm trying to have fewer things because like I am dreading, like if I have to move to a different apartment, like at least if I buy a house, it's like I know I'll be there for 10 years until my daughter's done with school. But like if I buy or if I rent an apartment, it's like, oh well, the goal is going to be to buy a house a year from now, so I'm gonna have to box up everything, move. I'm not even gonna want to unpack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just want to live out of boxes for a year.
I have started to pack things up. I haven't got a house or anything yet, but I have started to pack things up. I've got boxes, guys. So.
Oh boy, I should. Yeah.
Because I've just thought I'm gonna be moving like this time next year, and I don't need my decorations like lying around or anything.
Yeah. Okay. Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are some solid stickers, though, Cleo.
They are very solid stickers.
La da da da.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay. As long as it go from having boxes to hoarding, I think it's a smart idea. Well, like there is stuff that I just don't need around, like like photos. I don't need those for a year, you know. You're planning on grouting the mosaic you showed on Twitter eventually, but that's one of the things that got packed up in the boxes along with my record of achievement. So
don't have any of those records of achievement lying around.
Well, I don't know how to explain the record of achievement to you, Joe.
That's okay. I don't know that I would comprehend it.
Let's just say it was a waste of money from the government when I was young that was supposed to take the place of CVs in the future.
Wait, it was really?
Really?
So like you wouldn't have to submit a resume because you had a record of achievement?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That. Oh boy, that sounds like
the wine menu. Yeah, it's what it looks like.
You know the thick of it when Malcolm is describing the sorts of ideas that Julian would suggest, that you just nod and tell him, you know, that sounds great, but then you never actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds like that goes on that list. It's funny, too, because there were several items on that list of terrible ideas that we need to ignore from Julian that ended up becoming Doctor Who episodes when he was the Doctor. Like, I think somebody went back and watched his The Thick of It thing and mined it for Doctor Who ideas. Because he mentions, like, you know, if Julian comes in and says, what if we make policemen's hats orange? Or create a department to count the moon? And it's like, yep, there's totally a how many moons are there episode of Doctor Who. Yep. And then there's another bit later where he's like, "Oh, you changed your mind. Well, you know what? I gave you that offer 15 minutes ago, and it's 15 minutes hence. So, it's a whole new world out there. Maybe you can download Rice." Like,
oh dear. It's yeah. This is fine. This is fine. We're all fine.
we're fine.
We're fine, chat. You know? Definitely fine. Oh dear. They also had bad plastic sieves and absorbed the ink from anything that was inserted into it, like certificates, which is what it was supposed to be used for. And it also had, for some reason, my end of high school report in it.
Uh-huh. Well, you gotta have that.
Yeah, I mean that's what my employers now, now I'm 42, want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Thing is, I got one and my sister didn't. So it came in for like somewhere the graduating class of 1996.
Mm-hmm.
So it was bizarre, and the amount that they tried to encourage us that this was going to revolutionize your whole life, and it was like, this is a very important document, you must never lose it, kind of thing. This is the same thing as your national insurance card, effectively. Without it, you won't be able to work. And it was like,
wow, you won't be able to work. Jeez.
It was a weird time. Anna keeps their swimming badges in theirs, yeah. That's about as much use as it is. I mean, it has my certificates for things that I don't think need certificates. You still have your...
Okay. I don't know why that just got me.
It's you completed a teacher training course about physics.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's that level of like... It's such a weird thing. Anyway, I found mine the other day, and it was just sort of like, huh.
What do I do with this?
What do I do with this? I will keep it because it's like a memory.
Yeah.
And I'm not particularly sentimental, but it's there.
Yeah.
The thing is, it also has my end of year attendance record in it for like my final year of high school, like 91%.
Is that good or bad?
Anything under 95% is considered bad.
Oh, okay.
Hands up who got away with everything because of gaming the system. That would be me. Nobody ever called me on it because I knew that like I could just get away with stuff because I was a quote unquote good child.
Oh, I was yeah, I was the one that the teachers were always like at the parent conferences. Like, he won't do most of his assignments. He's got a C. He's passing, but he's only doing exactly enough work to get by, and then he gets perfect scores on all the tests.
Same.
And my parents were like, "So, does he understand what you're trying to teach?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely." And you think that we can make him do work he doesn't want to do if he understands the source material, and the goal of that work is to learn how to understand the source material. And the teacher would be like, "It would be better if he worked harder." And they're, my parents, it's like, and so there was one thing where it's like, there for the advanced placement calculus, like, you have to take this test at the end of the year to determine if you get college credit or not for what you learned.
Yeah.
And that professor or teacher or whatever was just like exasperated because he was like, "Joe doesn't do any of his work." and my parents are like, what grade do you think he's going to get on that test at the end of the year? And the teacher's like, well, he's going to get a 5, which is the best.
Mhm.
And my parents are like, well, then I'm just not going to stress about it. Like, like if the whole point of your course is for him to get college credit by taking a test at the end of the year, do we care if he barely passes your course? No. Like,
Here's the thing. Like, Badger just said that they never did homework ever, and I'm just like, same. The thing about being a quote-unquote good kid and being a quote-unquote smart kid is you get away with so much. And, like, whereas teachers would come down on the bad kids, they say, I haven't got their homework, and they're just like, you always do this. You know, why don't you have your homework? And I never got in trouble for it ever.
yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a saying too. It's like, what do you call the guy who graduates last in his class from the Naval Academy? Sir.
Mm.
You know, it's like, as long as you finish.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I never got in trouble for anything ever. Because I was incredibly privileged.
oh, I constantly got in trouble because, in addition to not doing my work, I was super obnoxious. So, so that's the thing, is you got away with this because you were one of the good kids. I was one of the, well, I wasn't like getting in trouble in terms of like drugs or alcohol. It was more like trespassing, but it's only trespassing if you get arrested. And like most cops are looking for where you parked your car.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't bring a car, you're good. Because what are they going to write down? Somebody else's license plate? Like, you know? Like that it's like, okay, I ran cross country. We could park 5 miles away from anything we were going to do and be fine. Like, but like, yeah, so yeah, we smuggled a bunch of 20-foot wooden poles into the courtyard of the school overnight, and built this giant tower as a senior prank. And like, some of the teachers were like, okay, well, that was clearly you and Daniel, because nobody else could have done this without generating evidence. But we know you're not going to admit to it because that would generate evidence.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a smart assumption.
But it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, but people say you're supposed to spend like 2 hours or something a day on homework, and I'm like, but no, I have a life.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That doesn't seem like that's going to benefit me at all. You'll understand the material better. Do I understand the material now? Well, obviously you do. So, am I going to get an A? Yes? Okay. Am I going to get a B? Well, sometimes it was like, you're going to get a B, but you could get an A. And I'm like, is that going to help me in any way? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like my parents aren't well connected enough for me to get into a good school anyway. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Like, it literally doesn't matter. My sister was valedictorian and couldn't get into an Ivy League school. She actually had perfect score, or she had, like a perfect GPA, great test scores and stuff. She's still going to a state school. Like, at a certain point, like if you're from middle of nowhere in Tennessee, you're not getting into Princeton or Harvard or wherever. Like, too bad. Just accept it.
Move on.
Go to, like, it just, like, there was no reason for me to try harder.
I mean,
it wasn't going to pay off.
If I had tried harder, I think like I would have got, I could have got into like Oxford or Cambridge. I could have done if I'd given a crap. My only goal in university was to get out of my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And I went as far away as I was possible without crossing the border, and I'm good.
Yay. Is the border like the British border or the English border? Like, because you could have
Oh,
gone
the
to like
English border.
Scotland.
I could have
Yeah.
gone to Scotland, but there's other stuff that would have stopped me from going to Scotland. But
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, the only thing that my sister got for working so hard, or so much harder than me, was making me feel better that I couldn't have gotten into a better school if I tried. Because I used to think, like, if I had actually tried, maybe I could have gotten into Princeton or something. But no, no, it's just,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, yeah. My family is not Princeton material. We're not connected. You know, we don't
Yeah.
know the right people,
Um,
and
mhm,
like that's one of the reasons that I was like, maybe I should get a master's degree because it's easier to get into a master's program in like
mhm.
an Ivy League school than into undergrad. If you actually have things like the YouTube presence we have, like I could arguably get into some sort of arts program at a high end
Probably.
school more easily than I could have gotten in an undergrad. But then my daughter would actually have a shot, like
Mm.
if at getting into undergrad there as a legacy. So like if I went let's say that we moved to New Hampshire and I did some sort of graduate program at Yale in the arts, right?
Mhm.
That would get her on track to actually get into Yale for undergrad.
Yeah.
But Mahi Zero says, even if you got in, could you have afforded another 5 or 10 years of debt? I mean, Vanderbilt was not cheaper than those Ivy League schools. I paid just as much for a less famous degree. So, yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
Graduate college summa cum laude. I don't know what that means.
That's
Yeah.
like with honors.
Okay.
Like laudable means like, oh, what a good job you did, right? So summa cum laude means with laudability, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a 2-1. So, and again,
Fujimoto
I
says
should.
it baffles me you need connections to get into college into the U.S. What a dystopic place. Well, the problem is that the schools aren't increasing in size proportionate with the population increase, right?
Mhm.
So, like Princeton is accepting almost the same number of students that they accepted 100 years ago every class, but the size of the population has expanded wildly, right?
Right.
So they've opened more schools, but to get into the best schools is harder. Um, but yeah.
Yeah.
Our only hope pun says, "Oh, bless Vandy prices. I went to college down the street from them at Lipscomb and paid much less." Yeah, but at Lipscomb you can get in trouble for leaving campus to go dancing. Like,
What? What?
oh yeah, and like they'll drive around and like check parking lots outside bars and stuff for Lipscomb parking passes and report people. It's a very there's a very strict social code you have to agree to go to Lipscomb. So like I understand why they can't charge as much because you have to give up so much individual liberty.
That sounds horrific.
Yeah. One of my friends went to pharmacy school there and like he was worried the whole time because he wasn't like a party guy or whatever, so he wasn't
Mhm.
worried about that element, but he was also an atheist and he was
Okay, I
yeah, and
see
like
why now.
so yeah, he was like and their religion has all sorts of stuff at that school. Like for example, only men are allowed to lead prayers in mixed company. And
Ew.
so he was terrified. He's like they always like to have one of the students lead the class in a prayer at the beginning of class of every class. And he's like statistically I'm gonna end up being assigned that sooner or later. So he would like move seats so that like if the teacher was going around the room, it wouldn't get him or whatever. And
Right.
they would always skip the girls because women aren't, or they would skip the women because women weren't allowed to pray in public or whatever because
That's
it's one of those religions.
horrific.
And yeah. So finally, one day the teacher was like, "So and so, would you like to lead us in prayer today?" And he just looks straight at the teacher and goes, "No, thank you." And the teacher goes, "Okay, John, you do it." So then the next guy does it. Dear Heavenly Father. And but like my friend was just like, oh my gosh, I was stressing out about that for years, and I could have just said no. Like,
Wow.
I was also like, dude, you could have just memorized a prayer or something. Like you've listened to the guy next to you say like the same like 12 words, like, dear Heavenly Father, please bless us as we study, as we endeavor to help others, help us help each other and ourselves, amen, or something. Like, you could have just, like, that's what I just made up on the spot without, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
I see exactly what you're saying, but also,
but anyway, yeah, I did not want to go to Lipscomb. I was not going to go to Lipscomb.
that was not a choice that Joe was willing to make.
No.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
I think I've heard of him.
I know. You could just say no? What a concept.
Dear God. Who prays before lectures? Yeah, that gets me. It's like, that's a thing? Sounds made up.
Lakshmi13 says, doesn't Vanderbilt give more scholarships than Ivy League schools? They might today, but the financial aid situation was very different 15, 20 years ago. 22? No, let's see. 18 years ago when I was applying. But anyway.
Yeah. It's a trip.
Yeah. So the thing about them too is that school actually starts at preschool. They have a university, but they also have a preschool, an elementary school, a middle school, a high school. So there was one person in my friend's pharmacy school class who was what they called a lifer. She had been going to this school since preschool and was going to get a doctorate of pharmacy for the same place. And it's just like, oh boy, good luck out in the real world.
Yeah, that's not gonna serve you well, really. It's just a cult. Yeah, no, at that point. I mean, it feels pretty culty the way that it's described anyway, so.
Oh, well, the thing is though, like at least at the college level and the doctorate level, they don't make your parents sign a code of conduct. But like if I wanted to send my kid to preschool there, I would have had to sign something saying that I wouldn't drink or go dancing or things like that. I would raise my child in a household consistent with their values and would personally live with them myself. And so obviously, I'm not going to sign something that says dancing is forbidden.
Dancing is forbidden. Jeez.
Dancing is forbidden. Yeah. They don't allow instrumental music during worship either. Like it's all their music is a cappella. It's like there's like a million things. Like it's like a whole thing. Like yeah. AJ just called it Nope to Footloose Academy.
Footloose Academy. Fun is outlawed.
JKA says at the end of the preschool to doctor track, you absorb the life energy of the previous professor and then become the new professor. Actually, I wonder if that person is teaching there now. that I wouldn't rule it out.
No, I wouldn't either. Dear God. That sounds horrific. I grew up in the Deep South and thought the evangelicals were weird, and then you met Mormons. I think every religion comes in various degrees, various flavors of not weird to very weird, I think.
There's one of the interesting things about Mormonism though, in terms of that spectrum, is that the least weird Mormons are the ones that are actually in alignment with their church, because
Oh,
because usually you kind of have like a spectrum that kind of has like whatever the mainline branch is toward the middle of the spectrum, right? And then you have like some people that are more casual and some people that are more like way too into it. But the Mormon church sets a pretty hard floor on how casual you can be and still be Mormon.
right.
But the ceiling is way out there. Like no, there's a bunch of like there's a bunch of like splinter Mormon groups in like Mexico and stuff
Right.
like that, who are just like they didn't want to be part like when the US wanted Utah to become a state, the Mormon church had to reject polygamy.
Ah,
Uh and there's a bunch of like splinter groups of Mormon that are like old school Mormon that like were like, well, we'll leave the United States then. And like, yeah. Whereas like if you wanted to be a more casual Mormon, the Mormon church would say, hey, where's your tithe? Where's this? Where's that? Oh, you're not doing that. You're out. Right? They'll excommunicate you for being a casual Mormon.
oh God.
So,
Huh. Anyway, I think I'm about done. How about you, Joe?
yeah, I think I'm good. I've just been working on this image here with the different stencils and stuff.
It is
So,
very geometric.
it is. I had fun.
I'm glad
Okay.
you had fun.
I got one last tip rolling in, but you know what? Let's acknowledge. Normally, we break off into our own streams to wrap things up, so I'll do that after we break off. Cleo, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, Joe.
Alrighty, catch you later.
Bye.
Actually, I will because we got to record. Bye.
Yes, we do. See you in a bit. Bye. Okay, disconnect from there. Right, chat. Oh, my back hurts. Like, it does. It does hurt. Let's see. Actually, let's see if my other half is streaming, because he's gone quiet on the Twitch chat. So that usually means he's streaming, and I haven't raided him for a while. Okay, let's raid Cam, because like I say, I've not raided him for a bit. So, okay. I will see you lot next time, and go and be nice to Cam for a bit. Like, mess with his channel points. He likes that. And I'll see you lot next time. Bye bye.